Good morning, everybody. Hi, it's Tracy at TierraCast. Sorry for our delay this morning. I had a great cell phone that I stretched it and made it last for 5 years, and I finally had to buy a new one. I did that, not last weekend, but the weekend before. So this is the first, oh, my glasses are very crooked this morning. This is the first Facebook Live that I have done with a new phone. So, you know there's going to be some technical adjustments, and then you forget how long they're going to take. So I apologize for the delay. Julie is here with us, and we have I think, a fun demo for you today. I want to see if I can catch you guys on the Facebook page and see who's popping in. And got him muted, of course. There we go. And hello to Landa. And anybody else who's here, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. You are a reason for being, so thanks. I'm going to switch my camera again to show you guys. Whoops, and I can still hear me a little bit on the other stream, so let me mute it. This is what we're demoing today. You guys hopefully have been watching while we launched our new Celestial collection, which we're just so excited about, and people are responding so beautifully to it. So we're very happy that people are loving it so much. And there's a couple of kits involved, including this Moon Phases Bracelets, which you can buy as a kit from your retail sources. But it's also a project, of course, on our website. So that's what we're going to demo today. We did them originally with 1.5 millimeter leather, and we used some 6 millimeter faceted check glass pony beads, which were perfect. They had beautiful sparkle, they had lovely colors. It was a great choice, but we also played with using size 6 seed beads. And those are wonderful too. You do have to make sure that your 6-spot seed beads have holes big enough for your cord, but otherwise they were a lovely choice as well, because they're just they're small and delicate. They go really nicely with the little tiny moon phase charms. So we thought we would just demo this first because we love the project. This is a nice, pretty little prop, but I'm going to get rid of that. I've got a bunch of 1.5 millimeter cord that I was going to poke through and pick a color, but while I was prepping everything earlier today, I kind of figured out what I was going to do. I like the idea, of course, I want to keep with the celestial kind of theme, so I like the idea of using this bright blue with a very light cord. So that's what I'm going to do first. This is a 1.5 millimeter round leather cord from Leather Cord USA. I think the color of this one is Petal. So it's kind of a creamy white, maybe a little bit of a pink to it. So hello, Pamish. Please tell us how to pronounce that correctly. You watch us so frequently. I wish I just knew how to pronounce your name correctly. And hello, Diana. And hello, Kimberly. Kimberly's always here. We love to see her. Julie is here. I don't hear her, but I think
I'm here.
She's here. She's watching you guys too. She's going to keep an eye on things and post links and whatnot. So to make this cute little bracelet, you need a piece of cord that is 16 millimeters long. I'm giving it a little bit of a pre-stretch here. And just because I'm going to be kind to myself, I'm going to cut a little bit of extra. And I am going to use the little check glass beads first. I am going to do one with some seed beads too, but I'll do the check beads first and decide what color goes best with that blue and with the light colored cord. I kind of like the copper. What do you guys think? Hi, Lynn. Nice to see you too. And Patty and Julie. Thanks, you guys, for being so patient with the technical difficulties this morning. I am actually very excited to have a new phone, though, because mine, like I said, I coaxed it along for 5 years, and it was getting old, and it was due. I was due for a new one. Let's see. Now, this project also needs some large hole spacers. So I have a few different ones in our line. We have a wide range of large hole spacers. Some of them are much bigger, but I want small ones. So I have 3 I can choose from. And I used both in some of those original designs. So I think for this one, I'm going to use just our little 5mm nuggets. And you only need, let's see, I need 12 of the pony beads. And I need just 6 of the large hole spacers. 3, 6, 9, 12. And then I need 1 of the little sets of our moon phase charms as sets to our wholesale customers. So that's how you should be able to buy them in your retail sources. And the little sets come with the full moon, 2 half moons, and 2 crescent moons. But we're also selling the little full moons and the crescent moons by themselves. So if you're not interested in doing a moon phase thing, you're just interested in using the crescent or the full moon charm in a design, you should be able to find those as well individually. All right, so I have a 16-inch piece of cord, and I've got my 6 spacers, my 12 glass beads, and my moon phases set. So I'm just going to start stringing on my beads. I'm starting with a glass bead, and then a spacer, and then a glass bead. And then I'm going to string on 1 of the crescent moons. So something that was interesting to learn, which I just had never given it any thought. But while we were, figuring out how to market these, we realized that when you have a moon phase series of images, if you live in the northern hemisphere, this is how it shows up. Your full moon, and then the 2 half moons facing, the flat side is facing away from the full moon. And with the crescent moons, the concave side is facing away from the full moon. So, but that's northern hemisphere. If you're southern hemisphere, it's the opposite. The crescent moon and the flat side of the half moon face the full moon. So that's southern hemisphere. And I didn't spend too much time thinking about, okay, why does that happen? But it's like, how the toilet flushes in the opposite direction in the southern hemisphere. I think they're related. I'm not sure, but it was just a very interesting thing to learn. And actually, I was starting to flip these back around, but I think I'll do them southern hemisphere for this particular bracelet, just for the fun of it. I haven't done that. My MO throughout the marketing materials for this line has been, we're in the northern hemisphere, so let's keep it northern hemisphere. But for today's demo, I'm going to flip it around. All right, so I've got my glass bead, spacer, glass bead, my first crescent charm, glass bead, spacer bead, glass bead. And then I'm going to string on my half moon charm. And again, with my beads alternating, half moon charm or full moon charm.
I would think you could make this in your sleep by this time, Tracy.
Maybe. And sometimes the thickness of leather cord can vary a little bit. It might be a 1.5mm cord, but some are a little thicker and some are a little thinner. They should fit just fine with these little glass beads. They're pretty, they have a good size hole. But when we go down to playing with the seed beads, that will be different. So we'll talk about that when we get there.
Oh, Gita Larson is
Yes,
here
hi,
from
Gita.
Denmark.
Hi, Gita.
I was not sure I was saying her name right.
I think that is right, Gita. I think I was saying it wrong for a while and someone corrected me, so I think it's right. All right, so where are we? We got all of our beads strung on. And so this is a, what do you call it? Adjustable bracelet. It's just finished with sliding knots here in the back. So what I want to do to kind of place my knots well is to just make a loop that's just big enough for my hand to fit over the widest part of my hand, you know, as long as I can get it over there, that's a good spot. And once I'm there, I'm going to kind of hold that tight and fold over one of the tails. Wait a minute. First, I want to make sure I kind of have an equal amount to work with on both sides. It looks like I do, but again, just to make it easy on myself, I'll try to make sure it's even.
You have April from Just Beat It beading along with you because she has the kit.
Oh, yay. And April did a great job at the design challenge.
She did, and we
last
should
week.
remind people too that there's a great prize available for them to go and comment and to try to win it because it's over $700 of stuff.
That's right. Okay, so in case people aren't caught up to what we're talking about, which I suspect most of our watchers are totally aware. Last Friday, there was a design challenge. It was hosted by Bead. We were also involved. Along with several other wholesale companies and that sponsored the event. And it was a designer challenge, and April was one of the contestants. And what happened was all of these companies put together a big old box full of product and sent it to these designers, and they weren't allowed to open it until the event. And then they had an hour to design something. So you can find that video. It was really fun to watch. That was last Friday night, and it's on the Bead page, the Bead Facebook page. And April was one of the contestants, and it's great fun. I mean, it might not be so fun for the contestants because I think it's a little stressful, but I think
they were really impressed.
Yeah, I think it went really well. And it's not the first time we've done it. It's been a few years. So I was just making that knot without really talking through it, but let me talk through it on this side. So I fold my tail back. I wrap this around a few times. It can be 2, it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3. You're going with 3. And then I'm taking that tail and tucking it back through all of those little loops. Trying to keep my little loops. Oh, and it looks sloppy. Let's just demo that again.
And let's let people know that you have a video on YouTube.
There is
and our blog.
Yeah, we have a video on our YouTube channel that demonstrates these sliding knots, and also on the blog on our website. So once again, fold that back. And there's some other tricks for doing these sliding knots. Kelly Sutton at Kelly's Bead Boutique uses a little piece of tube that makes it super easy. I've never really gotten into the habit of using that technique. I prefer to just fuss and fidget with the tradition.
Tracy, I sent your blog and your that link to your video to 2 customers that were having trouble with this that I met with, and they both sent back that they got it.
Yay! Yay!
Oh, I also want to let you know that Lynn is following along, but she's making a necklace version.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. So this is it. I got my knots tied. I don't want to like cinch these down really tight because it makes it hard to slide them, but you do want it to be snug enough where it's secure. And then to widen one of these bracelets, you pull the sides so that the knots get close together. And then to, tighten them, you slide the knots away from each other. And that's how it works. And then once you've got your knots in place and everything's good, you can trim off the tails. Make sure you cut the right cord. And that's it.
Gita is doing a great job posting links.
Oh, Gita is really fabulous like that. She is often saying, how we need, she's in Denmark and is always saying that she needs a TierraCast source in Denmark. So I told her she needs to just open a store, but I don't know if she's going to do it.
Just that little thing would be helpful. Just open a store.
It's just a little thinky, but surely you could do that. Wouldn't that be great?
She probably has enough beads. Everybody,
Yeah.
almost everybody I know out there has enough beads to start a store. Or they feel like they do anyway.
Right. Okay. So we did our cat glass version. I like the palette. I'm happy with the way those colors bounce off each other. I like it very much. So now we have to choose a seed bead variation. And I didn't get out all my seed beads. I was trying to stick with, you know, pretty much a space-ish, a celestial palette. And I don't have a whole lot of blues in my chord selection, surprisingly. I have like a turquoise, which doesn't seem all that perfect.
No.
I have this is kind of a teal green. It's not quite right either. So I think I kind of like the idea of this metallic pale lavender.
Yeah. So
let's go with that one. And the first thing I need to do now with these, well, I have to decide on the beads too. I think these, and I think silver.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a uh-huh or a uh-uh?
Yes, no, silver.
All righty. And I'll use the little faceted spacer this time.
I love that spacer so much.
I do too. I'm glad, you know, this little faceted spacer has been in our lineup for a really long time, like way the heck back. But it had a kind of but generally just, it's a good habit to stretch your leather cord a little bit, because otherwise it's going to stretch after you've completed the design. I mean, it will a little bit anyway, even with the pre-stretching.
Yeah.
But, you know, you want to avoid it as much as you can later. So I did test that this seed bead, this particular seed bead, and it's a Toho, and we have had good luck with Toho. I haven't necessarily tried a bunch of I've tried some others where it just didn't fit. And that's why I'm kind of getting this one out to test too. It can really depend on the finish of the seed bead. If it's a lined seed bead, it kind of makes that hole a little bit smaller. So this one, is it a Toho? It is a Toho, but still this one won't fit. So I can do a couple of things. I can pick a different seed bead and make sure it's one that does fit, or I can go down to a 1 millimeter cord. So that is an option too.
Tracy Alden is opening a studio and going to be qualified for wholesale, it looks like.
Oh, that's awesome, Tracy. That's good news.
Very cool.
So I'm just doing the same thing I did with the other version. I'm starting to string my glass beads and my spacer beads, and I'll go with the Northern Hemisphere arrangement of the moon charms. Someone did point out at some point in our marketing that there's actually 4 typical phases of the moon. But I was like, yes, but it would be so very hard to figure out how to make a charm that showed the new moon. It's like, how would we do that? So we stuck with the 3, the quarter moon and the half moon and the.
Can't see the new moon. So
exactly.
Who knows
that is my point.
Not there. It could be there.
That is my point. So I was just like, well, that would be hard. So
we're good, but maybe not that good, huh, Tracy?
I suppose we could just leave an empty space in the design to, you know, represent. And I don't know if you guys caught that, but even within the little pile of, you know, seed beads can have little misshapen ones. They can just have little funky ones. So I did have to reject one because it was a little crooked and the hole was a little smaller and it didn't fit. Oops, and I've lost count of my beads.
Debbie wants to know which retail suppliers would carry a large selection of our products. For example, earring posts. Well, Google is always what I say. Just Google.
Well, I usually send them to the store finder on our website.
Yep.
We have a lot of wholesale customers. We don't always like to recommend one over the other. So that's why I just send people to the store finder. They can find, they'll still have to do some shopping to find who's carrying the exact product that they want, but it's a great place to start.
It is, Tracy. Thank you for bringing that up. And Amanda just said she's looking for stores in Canada, and the same thing. Go to that store finder, and on that page, we also list our wholesalers in different countries, international and domestic. So it's really a pretty good list, and that should work for Gita also.
Yeah. I think Gita already knows. And we do have some good stores up in Canada. So.
Yeah, we've got good stores everywhere. We've got great resellers. So start there.
And then, like I said, they will have to shop. They'll have to poke around on those websites and see who's got what.
Gita's already posted the store locator link.
I'm just
gonna lean back in my chair and drink my coffee and relax while Gita does my job.
She's on it. She does. Gita does that a lot for Kate Richburg too. With Kate's videos, she's always helping and posting.
Hey, everybody can use, a little help. I'm telling you.
So I did my first. Oh, you know what, guys? I'm going to back up here and just point out that if somebody is not a fan of those fussy barrel knots, you can also make a sliding knot design by just making a single loop and doing one single overhand knot. Again, you don't want to make that too tight because you want it to be able to slide. Check my size again, make sure it's going to fit me. It does. So again, that was just me wrapping the tail around and making a loop. And making a single overhand knot. And that also works, that just works just fine as a sliding knot. It's just not the barrel style.
Well, it really kind of explains, the simplicity of that. You can see what's actually going on with the slide, that you're just tying a knot around the piece.
Right. You're tying it, you're taking the tail and you're tying a knot around the bracelet, really. I do like the barrel knots better, so back this up and do it again.
Well, they're prettier. They're
a little prettier. I also gave myself a longer piece this time, so I have kind of plenty to work with.
What are you going to do with the leftover, Tracy?
Well, I'm going to trim it off, but I can do more wraps to make my barrel knot a little bit longer.
Wouldn't want you wasting anything.
I wasn't measuring. Just kind of winging it. I like it too. Tracy Alden is saying the purple is really great with the silver.
Yep.
Moon Phases. I like it too.
You just got a little fandom going on the feed because people also appreciate her chipping in.
Yeah. If somebody would just open a store in Denmark to make Gita happy, it would make us all happy too. Okay. They feel lumpy this time.
It's because that wire, that leather is coated.
You think it's the metallic thing?
It is. The natural, I almost always use the natural because it's so much more drapey. Work with. Yeah, but it's, if you want a little more structure, the The coated leather's fantastic. And you get the color.
Right. I am just, sometimes when you're coiling, or when you're tightening it, the knots will kind of overlap or get out of order.
Yeah.
And sometimes that causes a little bit of funkiness. I really should work more with Kelly Sutton's technique.
Oh yeah, somebody on here just commented that they were great. That it's
Yeah, they do work great.
That it works really great. Hey, you know what? Are you going to show the anchor bracelet knot? I mean, a version with the bead, and also as another alternative.
Oh, that's a fun idea, Julie. That's a brilliant idea. Let's do that. So what Julie's talking about, all right, these are done. I don't need to fuss with them anymore. You can fuss with them till the cows come home.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, they look nice. All right, so I am so glad you thought of that.
Well, talking about the coated leather, I don't know why I'm saying wire, brought it up for me because remember the coated leather didn't work as well with this technique because it could scrape it off.
Right.
So the natural is really best for this technique you're going to show.
Well, I'm not sure now. Are you talking about using a large hole bead? Or are you just talking about using a barrel knot as a decorative component?
No, I'm talking about the large hole bead that you're done.
Oh.
The cinch one. What were you thinking?
Oh, hold on.
She has more ways to do this than I knew.
Okay, so what Julie's talking about is that I could string all of these. And I'm wondering if this works better with a 2mm cord, but it's worth just for the fun of it, just string a few beads and test it.
It's just for anybody, if there are people that don't like doing knots out there, it's another option.
So someone could do one of these bracelets, and if they didn't want to do the sliding barrel knots, I'm just stringing a few on just for the fun of it.
I keep hearing a little bit of feedback. Are you hearing that of my voice?
No, you sound fine.
Okay, good. Because I keep checking to make sure that I'm muted in the right places, and I am. So it just must be my own feedback.
Okay, so I don't need quite as much cord for this because I'm not doing those wrappy things. But what I'm going to do is take one of our large hole beads. And again, this would be a situation of making sure that your cord and the bead hole are a good fit for the technique. And this would definitely work better with a 2mm cord, Julie, because this is a 1.5 and it's a little loose to hold the 1.5mm cord securely. But you can see then what Julie's talking about. This is a sliding solution, so it's still adjustable. And what I would do then is tie a little knot at each end of the cord. And what the heck, let me just get some 2mm cords so we can demo it properly.
I think we have the anchor bracelet project sheet on our website.
It's on the website.
Well, let me link to that.
Okay. I do hear some volume from one of the streams. I thought I had mine on mute though.
Every time I check, mine's on mute, but I do hear it once in a while too.
Okay. So I'm not going to bother. Not going to bother stringing any beads on this one. We're just demoing. My cord ends are cut at an angle, and that makes it easier to string when I'm getting both pieces of that 2mm cord through this hole. It helps to have those cords cut at an angle. And then you can see that the 2mm is definitely a better fit.
Yeah, there we go.
And then that works as a nice alternative to the barrel knots, because I can tie little knots here, and this is a snug enough fit on the 2mm cord where it's going to keep, it's going to stay in place when you adjust the bracelet. So that's what Julie was talking about. And she was also talking about the coatings on the leather, how the inside of the bead can kind of cause some wear on the leather. So the naturals were better for that than using, for example, the metallics. But that would definitely be a personal choice. But what also came up while we were doing all that was the idea of using a sliding knot just decoratively. So I've just got a piece of scrap leather here. I probably don't need it to be this long, but it's been a long time since I've done this. And this technique is on our anchor bracelet that's also on our website, because we use a little barrel knot as a decorative element for that bracelet.
Yeah. Two questions came up. Tracy Alden wanted to know what collection the spacer bead is from, and who knows? We've had it around so long.
She could find it in the leather. I'm sorry, just the large hole beads. In the menu on the website, she can.
It's called I think we call it a cinch bead.
No.
No.
This one specifically?
I'm always wrong, Tracy. It makes me crazy. And then Gita wanted to know if it had silicone on the inside, and it does not. It's not one of those kind.
No, it's not one of those fancy things. That would be cool, but no, because they don't scratch up the inside. So you can see, same technique. I just folded it over, and then I'm going to tuck the tail, and then I wrapped it, and then I'm going to tuck the tail back through all those loops. I didn't give myself very much to work with.
No, we call that the groovy spacer. It's the groovy spacer.
It's called the grooved spacer. If people go onto the anchor knot bracelet on the website, then they'll get size. They'll be able to find out what size, what length of cord to cut to do this.
Yeah, and you're right. It is grooved. I guess only I called it the groovy.
And you always have.
I always have. So I thought it was what it was called.
The groovy spacer. All right. So I just tied a little barrel knot. I'm right there. And again, this one is going to stay in place, so I can pull it a little bit tighter. I'm not going to be wanting to slide this. So. And then I just trim off both ends, and then that is just decorative. And it's also it's functional in that it will then hold this focal section of beads in place. But other than that, it doesn't need to move. It's just decorative. And it's just also an interesting way to use these little barrel beads.
Love it.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. That was a fun little extra thing to demo. I'm not happy with this black cord in this lavender palette, but it's just for demo purposes. So,
Absolutely.
So I'm going to switch my camera back. Because unless somebody else thinks of something, that's kind of all there is to it. I have seen, who did you say was doing a necklace version of this?
Lynn Carling? I think is her last name.
Okay. I also saw Danielle post a necklace version of it, and I just thought that was fun. They're just, when Kirsten was working on the development of these little charms, she was really, sorry, I'm looking down, like you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm looking at the, at the other view, and you guys aren't, so sorry about that. When Kirsten was developing these little beads, she really did want them to fit into that trend with the real delicate and small jewelry. So I did see someone else do a necklace just with the series of charms on a chain, and it was just beautiful. It was very delicate. That really was something that Kirsten did very intentionally. And we also have had people, we've had people asking about doing them larger. So, we've had a few people ask that. So maybe that's something we'll do down the road as a series of them slightly larger. I don't know. We'll see, right? So that's all I got, you guys. I see Michelle Owens is here. She's from Leather Cord USA, and we use lots of Leather Cord USA stuff today, Michelle. So thank you for that stuff. She keeps me well supplied. She makes sure I have everything I need. The lavender leather, Jessica, is a 1.5 millimeter. That's what we used for all the bracelets. And this particular color is Chandni, Chandni. It is beautiful. It's just got that slight metallic color, and it's really a nice shade. Let's see. And while we were talking about the size, we did talk about if you end up using some seed beads that have slightly smaller holes, you could go with a 1 millimeter leather. So yeah, unless there's anything else anybody's burning to know, that's about all I got. We'll figure out. I am so excited that we just did a launch, because that means now we have all these new inspirations to share. So I'm going to figure out what will be next week's, and I'll post that over the weekend. So thank you, you guys, and we'll see you next week. And be well and make pretty things, and we'll see you later. Bye.